Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
What is just not the flex that people think it is? Never taking your PTO. My dad argues with me all the time, off again. I don't know how you can do that all the time. You've taken off more this year than I have in the past decade. I earned it. I pay my dues. I go to work. This is what we get. Oh, so just because you have the time, you just have to use it? Damn right. He is maxed out on PTO, and it's use or lose. He just loses it every year. And talks shit about his coworkers that burn the difference. Like, oh, he does that all the time. I don't see the point of taking vacation just to burn the time. It's not like they're actually going on vacation. Dude, they are paying you to not work. Never get that through my boss's head. Then, get this, my boss tried to give me my full compensation. Lady tried to uphold the terms of my employment. HAHAHA. So obviously I just left that giant lump of money on the table, as it were, and started working harder. I'm not an idiot. Fuck, I love practically exploiting myself on someone else's behalf. Quote, one of my biggest regrets was leaving a job with a buttload of PTO on the table. Screw the corporation and take what is rightfully yours. The I never take a day off types who live at work. How bad does your home life have to be? Working for one of those types is the worst. Working under one of those guys now. It's a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. I stay late on the occasional day. This guy regularly pulls 8:30 a.m. to 7+ p.m. days. Complains he doesn't have time to date. Wish he'd loosen up, not be a smart ass all the time and not use his job, career as his personality. Would help him to be more approachable and maybe kinda likable. I'm my own boss, MLM participant. Knowing a couple of people who actually started non-pyramid scheme businesses. Being your own boss really isn't all it's cracked up to be. All of them will kind of just disappear for a few months like, oh sorry, I've been working 16+ hour days, got a couple of new clients and had a contractor quit. Even if it's not an exploitative scam. Being your own boss if you're still in a position where you have to respond to someone's needs. Just clients rather than a boss. Just sounds awful. Even if it's not an exploitative scam. Being your own boss if you're still in a position where you have to respond to someone's needs. Just clients rather than a boss. Just sounds awful. It is. The pay is better, but the working environment is worse. Working for another boss means there's an extra layer of bureaucracy between me and the people who want the stuff I make. And that's a good thing, because then I don't have people harassing me every day. Do you know who my dad, mom, or parents are? No, no one cares. They're asking. They don't know. Help the clueless in need. Ah, sweetheart, are you lost? Quote, some teenager said that to my dad after a minor car accident. My dad's reply was, yeah, and I'm calling him up right now so he can pick you up. I wish I could have bottled up the look of crushing defeat on that little shit's face. My coworkers flexing their $900 car payments for new cars they didn't need to buy with high interest rates. I was in a forum where some dude was bragging about his $3,000 car payment. My mortgage on my house and my rental is less than that. He claimed he could write off 100% of it as a business expense for his wife's business. He was doing a whole lot of things wrong. Taking on $3,000 per mo in expenses to save $1,100 per mo in taxes. Sure, it means you get an Aston Martin for 37% less than normal people. But you're still paying $1,900 per mo on a fucking car. That's assuming you don't get audited. 'Cause they'll want their $1,100 per mo back plus interest and fees. Driving around in a super loud vehicle such as a low-riding Scion with blast packs. If you own one of these, you look like an asshole and everyone hates you. Honestly, extend this to anyone with loud and obnoxious cars. Literally no one thinks you're cool outside of your small group of car buddies, everyone else just thinks you're fucking annoying. And motorcycles. Proclaiming you're an alpha male. In fact, it makes you look like a complete idiot and everyone hates you. This always reminds me of the Tywin Lannister quote, any man who must say, I am king, is no true king. Quote, if you have to tell someone that you're an alpha, you're not. Not that having alpha males is a meaningful thing in human society anyway. While alphas aren't a thing, people confuse it with people that are more confident, have a dominant personality, and have a commanding presence. The people that claim to be an alpha are usually just assholes that think being a dick to everyone around you somehow makes you dominant. Brew, I'm such an alcoholic I can drink X amount of alcohol. Ugh, that was me in my 20s. I was absolutely a functioning alcoholic. Downing a handle, week, plus wine and beer. No wonder I put on 60 pounds, dropped it all since, thankfully. Used to brag about drinking everyone under the table. And then it kinda dawned on me that I might actually have an addiction problem. So glad that it didn't take a more severe, wake-up call, like hospitalization for overconsumption. Or something like that. Yay, same, I was drinking at least a handle a day. And ended up with seizures if I went 10 hours without a drink. Coming up on a year sober. Riding around in a limousine. I think it was David Spade who made the joke about it, saying, roughly, whenever I see someone riding in a limo, I think, wow, you have $300. Edit. You, Garfield, January 23, 23 below actually found the clip. It was $80. I just assume it's on its way to a bachelorette party or prom. I wonder if there was a tipping point of them no longer being used by the rich and powerful. A black SUV with blacked out windows is the way to go if you want to look important today. Bonus points if you've got a convoy of them. I've gotten in M a few times cause I was out with like 5 to 10 people and it made sense to get across town. Years ago when I was doing air ambulance flights, whenever we reached the destination with the patient, we'd scheduled an ambulance, obviously, to transport us to the hospital. Since there was a risk that it would be called off on the way back to the plane, we'd normally take a cab back. But it had to be a van in order to fit all the gear and stretcher. We had one transport that was a 2-hour drive away, so we hired a car service versus the taxi. The dispatcher tells us that for the distance we traveled a limo was the same price as the van. So we booked that. We thought it was going to be an airport limo, style Lincoln sedan. But it ended up being a full stretch limo. Then he asks if we've eaten yet. Nope. So he pulls into a burger joint so we can grab something. The looks of people seeing a stretch limo pull into a small town burger joint. And 3 people in flight suits. We'd been up all night and looked like hell. Topple out to grab a burger. Fries and a shake was a sight to behold. Thank you for that mental image. But also for the severe disappointment at not being able to see that in person. That sounds like a scene out of a movie where the heroes have just finished doing some heroic thing. Like the Avengers getting shawarma.